Hey foodies, today we are talking British Columbian food. What to eat and drink where. And spoiler alert, there is no poutine in this episode. You're going to find a local's insight with secrets only British Columbians know, so let's dig in. From province to province, there are huge variations within regional cuisine. The landscape as well as historic settlement of immigrants over time make each province incredibly unique. So if you're eating poutine in British Columbia, yes, it is Canadian, but you're probably getting a very British Columbian version of it, as it's not really a regional dish. And while there's nothing wrong with that, wouldn't you rather be eating an expression of where you're visiting during your visit? Something truly local. I've lived all over British Columbia. I was born in the interior. I lived most of my childhood in the Cariboo. I spent my adolescence in the Kootenay region, and now I call the Okanagan Valley home. I love traveling to the coast for authentic Asian eats and incredible seafood. So where I lived really did influence what I ate, and where I travel, I always prefer to eat locally. Should you find inspiration in this video, please like and subscribe, and you can find more details, including links to some of the topics I talk about or some of the food trails I talk about in the description below. Along the coast, stretching from the Washington border all the way to the Alaskan border, you'll find the most incredible seafood. From Dungeness crab, oysters, scallops, spot prawns, salmon, they're all in high demand. In Vancouver and other oceanside communities, you'll find restaurants taking advantage of the freshest ingredients right there from the sea. We loved our visit to Fanny Bay Oyster Bar in downtown Vancouver. We tried gooey duck, oyster umami bombs, just classic shucked raw oysters. BC oysters can be a lot smaller than Eastern oysters, and their flavor is more sweet, briny, and delicate. I love cushy oysters from Deep Bay, British Columbia. For a medium-sized oyster though, Fanny Bay is really where it's at. While I'm not a huge fan of cooked salmon, I do love it as sashimi or candied or cured. Smoked salmon is also amazing. You'll find many breakfast locations serving a British Columbian rendition of Eggs Benedict, where they don't use the Canadian bacon or the regular bacon, but they'll substitute that with smoked salmon, and it's really good. In Richmond, if you've watched one of our first videos, you'll know how much we love Richmond for its Asian cuisine. Richmond is home to North America's largest night market, the Dumpling Trail, and the Richmond Public Market, with 70% of its inhabitants identifying as Asian and 60% being born overseas. It has developed an incredible food scene worth exploring. Only 25 minutes from downtown Vancouver or a quick SkyTrain ride, it is so easy to get to. The Vancouver International Airport is also in Richmond, so it makes for a very easy stop off for foodies. We love Richmond's Dumpling Trail, which consists of various restaurants and food court vendors offering bucket list dumplings you need to taste throughout the city. Richmond Night Market was incredible, offering unique eats from around the world. For another unique space to taste Asian foods, try the Richmond Public Market. The food court on the second floor, amazing. You'll find a great shopping experience downstairs with local seafood, but upstairs you'll find a host of offerings like Hong Kong style fried crab, the famous Mr. Peanuts milk tea, pan-fried or steam buns. And if you get there early enough, you can wander around and watch some of the food vendors make their noodles, dumplings, and buns all from scratch. With the Asian cuisine influencing some of the local food, you have to try Japadog. Japadog is in the Vancouver area, and you'll find these hot dog stands throughout the city. It's a hot dog, but with Asian ingredients like furikake, Japanese mayo, tempura, or tonkatsu. My favorite is the Wagyu teri mayo, with a Wagyu beef hot dog, seaweed, teriyaki sauce, and Japanese mayo with fried onions. My God, you guys, it is so good. You have to go and try this. Especially after a night out, when you see those glowing hot dog stands, oh my God, it's like a beacon of hope. Now this one might require a bit of a history lesson, so I will make it quick. This by no means is an official history, so please, I urge you to educate yourself, look up some more information. There'll be links down below. So Doukhobors are a peaceful Christian sect that fled Russia at the turn of the century from 1899 all the way until 1938. They immigrated to Canada, first settling in Saskatchewan. But in 1908, 6,000 of those would pick up and head west to British Columbia, settling in the Kootenay region. Although they fled Russia to avoid religious persecution, they also experienced it in Canada. They were treated atrociously by the Canadian government, with land being stolen from them, children being taken away. In 2024, they were issued an official government apology, with $10 million being pledged to help preserve and support their culture and heritage. I have a personal link to the Doukhobors. So I moved to the Kootenay region, as I mentioned, and I went there during high school, and it's actually where I met my husband, who is a descendant of the Doukhobors. It was a huge culture shock to me moving to the Kootenay region as an early teenager. I was coming from French immersion, and when I got there, I was also offered an option to take Russian as a language elective. The grandmothers of my friends, they would all speak Russian in front of me, so it was very clear to me that I was an outsider coming into this small community. But one aspect where I found solace in this community was the incredible food, the local Doukhobor cuisine. Families would make local Doukhobor specialties like poutine and vareniki, but if you're in the area, make sure you stop at the Borscht Bowl. The Borscht Bowl is in downtown Grand Forks. My favorite dishes are the cottage cheese vareniki and poutine topped with melty butter and sour cream. You have to go try this if you're driving through the Kootenay region. We are so much more than ice wine in British Columbia. Our province alone has 9 different distinct wine regions, and they're all throughout the southern portion of the province. I currently live in the Okanagan wine region, but aside from the Okanagan, there are some incredible wine regions that you should check out. From the islands to the Similkameen, British Columbia is also home to Canada's only wine village, located in Oliver, which is Canada's wine capital. That's more in the southern Okanagan, and it borders Canada's only desert. If you can't get to one of these wine regions during your visit, you can pop into a BC government liquor store, and you'll find a whole section dedicated to British Columbia. While you're in the liquor store, be sure to buy bottles that are marked with the VQA, Vintners Quality Association, which are wines that are fully grown and made in British Columbia, meaning that they meet the standards in quality, and you'll be getting the fullest expression of BC wines. In January of 2024, we had a devastating cold snap that decimated vineyards here in the Okanagan and various parts of British Columbia. It was so devastating that many wineries actually have to either replant, or they were able to salvage the plant and just had to trim it down to the very nub. So essentially they're restarting. The industry itself is reporting a 97 to 99% loss from bud and vine damage. But that doesn't mean BC wineries don't have wine.
British Columbia wineries are collaborating with Washington and Oregon grape growers to help fill the gap. The result will be some truly unique wines in this unprecedented time for BC wineries. It's important to support our local BC wineries, and again, if you prefer BC grown, look for the BC VQA symbol while in the grocery store or the BC liquor stores.
So while you're in British Columbia, you have to try the BC craft beer scene. There are some really innovative breweries doing some very cool things. They're partnering and collaborating with local wineries here in the Okanagan. We did do a video showcasing our favorite breweries in our city that also had the most incredible food, which you can find somewhere up there. If you are into hops more than wine, then check out the BC Ale Trail. You'll find unique breweries throughout the province, really fun interactive maps on their website. Again, you'll find that in the description below. Living in the Okanagan, you'll find vineyards are often neighbors to cherry and apple orchards. One of my favorite things to do is to hop on a bike or drive around to my local farm stand, maybe do a little wine tasting in between. It's a really cool place to live. It's great to be able to buy directly from the farmer, and you can head to the farmers market, interact with farmers, support your local farmers. Farmers markets in general are a great way to get introduced to the local food scene where you are. If you're in Vancouver, you can head to the Granville Island Marketplace, where you can find local Okanagan apples and fruit that's in season. It often gets sent there. A great way for tourists to experience Okanagan fruit. If you're visiting British Columbia or if you live here, you need to check out the Indigenous food scene. The cuisine and talent that features seasonal and local ingredients is not to be missed. Throughout the province, you'll find restaurants, cafes, food trucks serving bannock, which is fry bread in sweet and savory styles, game meat like moose and elk, and dishes that utilize Indigenous foraging practices and hyper-seasonal local ingredients. If you want to seek out some incredible chefs and restaurants, you can visit indigenousbc.com for itineraries, restaurants, and Indigenous activities for inspiration throughout the province. If you're a fan of sweet treats, you cannot pass up a Nanaimo Bar. You can easily find them at any self-respecting Canadian bakery. Grocery stores have them, and if you ask a local, they probably have a recipe that they use at home. The best I've ever tasted were from my mother-in-law, but unfortunately for you, she is not selling. But there is a Nanaimo Bar Trail in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. You can taste classic variations of it or unique flavors. You can even find ice cream versions of it, cocktails inspired by the sweet treat, and even spa treatments, soaps, candles, and other non-edible souvenirs to take home. And finally, definitely some of our colonial history coming through. If you're in Vancouver or especially Victoria on Vancouver Island, you might want to take in a high tea. It is very British and you kind of get the feeling of our British history in Victoria especially. There are some bougie places to do that on Vancouver Island as well as Vancouver. Even some places here in the Okanagan, you can still find quite a few afternoon teas or high teas. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to us, so thank you.